If I had to break down the only metric that truly mattered, I wouldn't choose discipline, I wouldn't choose consistency, I wouldn't choose your level of ambition or how persistent you are. I would choose your desire, because your desires will be your reason for why you go after your wildest goals and dreams, or why you don't end up accomplishing them. And I want to tell you guys a quick story about desire and how it's transformed my life. So there was a point in my life where I was battling with whether or not I was a consistent person. I would hear everyone talk about this concept of consistency, but I actually questioned if I actually was consistent. Like, what did it actually mean to be consistent? What are some examples that I am consistent? So I set out this challenge for myself to do 100 push-ups every single day for 1 year. Yes, 100 push-ups every single day for 1 year. Now, if I accomplished this goal, then I would classify myself as a consistent person. And I felt like no one could take that away from me. And I remember just like yesterday, once my birthday hit, I said, this is the time where I'm going to do it every single day. And for 4 months straight, I was on track to doing it. I was showing up throughout the day, doing my push-ups. It didn't really matter how I did them as long as I did 100 push-ups every single day. And it got to the point where this task would take me around 30 minutes to complete. And I was kind of aware with how long it would take throughout my day and throughout my schedule. But there was one day in particular, I was like 4 months in of being consistent every single day, where I checked the clock and I panicked because I realized I did not do my push-ups, and it was 11:55 p.m. at night. So basically that meant I only had 5 minutes to actually finish the task I had for the day. And I told myself, after 4 months of committing to this goal, I knew that I was not going to stop here. I knew that my desire was extremely strong. So what did I do? Well, I got down on my knees and I did my push-ups, and I did not stop. Normally I would take these breaks, I would, take some pauses, but I went 100 push-ups straight and I completed it in under 5 minutes. And that's when my mind completely changed, because I learned how powerful my desire was. I had a desire to remain consistent throughout this challenge, and I was not going to let that one day deter my progress. And so said, so done. Actually, for the entirety of the year, I was able to not only complete that challenge, but I learned that I was able to actually complete push-ups in a much shorter time frame that I thought was actually possible. And it all came back to my desire. Another time when I realized the power of desire was actually when I was in university. One thing about me was I was very adamant on getting the best grades I possibly could. And I realized that if I missed a deadline, this could be a huge detriment to my overall grade. So in a lot of the courses that I was taking, if you handed in your assignments late, you lost up to 10% every single day that you were late. And I was already in a very academically tough program. So losing 10% on my assignments was not something I was looking forward to. And so I made sure that I was on top of every single thing. I made sure that I was well aware of all the assignments and all the deadlines. I made sure to schedule it into my calendar, try to work in advance. And there were times where I was running really close, like assignments were back to back and I had to stay up very late just to finish an assignment. There were even some nights, and I've shared this before, where I had to stay up all night. I actually didn't even sleep in order to get assignments in. And this is not something I recommend, but I realized the reason why I was able to do that, and the reason why I didn't have any problems with doing that, was because my desire was so strong. I told myself I was not going to fail in that realm. And this is essentially the thesis of today's video. The only metric that will truly matter in the end, and then one of the most important metrics, is your desire. Because once you have a very strong desire, all the other pillars will fall into place. He who has a very strong why can bear almost any how, and that why will stem from your desire. Like me personally, I would pick a person who has a much stronger desire over someone who doesn't have that desire, but they might have the perfect routine and the perfect schedule and the perfect resources. Because once you have a very strong desire, you will figure it out. You will take sticks and stones and build a fortress. And I'm sure you have a bunch of other examples within your own life where your desire was so strong that you were not willing to fail. I told a lot of you guys that I'm also in a challenge at the time of this recording where I'm tracking my consistency over a period of weeks. And I've been consistent throughout this process. And I have such a strong desire to not let these things fail. So even when life's throwing a bunch of chaos at you, even when things like your car windshield breaks down, or you have to travel and support someone who's ill, you're still getting the things done every single day. And that comes back to that desire. And I truly believe that desire over a long period of time actually can beat out talent. Because if you have the desire to become the best version of yourself, the desire to improve in whatever category you're working on, it doesn't matter what obstacles are set in your way. It doesn't matter what stages you're going on throughout your life, you will succeed. And even for me, guys, at the time of this recording, like, I'm dealing with various obstacles just like all of you. For example, yesterday I was in the hospital supporting a loved one from a very unexpected moment, or there was times where my car windshield had cracked and I had to find a way to still get to the gym and complete my inputs on the day-to-day basis that I talk about. And the only reason why I'm able to do that is because my desire is so strong. It's because I'm not willing to allow these obstacles to stop me from going where I need to go. And I really want to emphasize, if any of you have this burning sense of hunger, this desire, do not suppress it. You'll be in a society where so many people will try to make you feel like you're wrong, or you should suppress your desires to feel normal. I remember back when I was in elementary school, I was always extremely competitive. And for example, when we were in doing schoolwork, or whether we were playing a game at gym, I always wanted to be the best I possibly could. And I remember a lot of people, especially during that gym class, they would always tell me, you're so competitive, you need to tone it down, like just relax, it's just a game. And if I could actually go back and talk to that younger version of myself, I would tell him, do not suppress your desires just to make other people feel comfortable. Like realistically, this entire world is extremely competitive. And yeah, you don't have to sabotage other people, but you don't feel like you have to change who you are just because other people make you feel weird for your desires. I truly believe that if you have a very strong desire for whatever you want to do, that is a superpower in today's society. If you look around, you'll see a bunch of people who walk with their heads moping, not feeling confident, not wanting anything for their life. And then they're going to try to put their limiting beliefs on you and try to suppress your desires. And that's a huge mistake, especially if you decide to listen to that. I tell you guys all the time, whenever you're dealing with that, because I know a lot of my high performers will, it's always just garbage in, garbage out. You can take in what they're saying, but just dispose of it immediately and get back to having your strong desires. I remember one of my mentors gave an amazing analogy when it comes on to desires. And he basically said that desires are like an internal flame within your stomach. Your job is to keep that flame lit for as long as possible. Like I mentioned before, society will try to take out your flame. They'll try to tell you need to calm down. They'll try to tell you you're too much. But in reality, your desire is your superpower, because there's so many people that wish they had that level of ambition, that wish they had that level of consistency, that wish they had the desires to do something with their life. And honestly, just recently, I had to deal with another situation that really tested my own desires, because a lot of you know that I film content in different locations, and I was in this location filming content, and there was this guy who was working in the building, and he saw me filming content. So he kind of came out of his way, he came into the room, and he came up to me while I was filming, and he goes, oh, this room's booked out, and this room's booked out at 6. So I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. I can clean up, I can get out of here. I don't want to intrude. If someone booked out this room, we're going to totally respect their space. But this gentleman said that this room was booked out at 6. And when I looked down at my watch, it was 6:30. So I thought to myself, if this entire room was booked out and it's currently 6:30, why isn't there anyone here? So then I had this internal gut feeling where I was like, you know what, let me just sit here. Let me just finish filming my content. And then if a group comes, I will leave, no problems, no questions asked. And it turns out I spent another 30 minutes filming that content. And guess what? Nobody showed up. And it turned out that this guy, like when I really think about what he was trying to do, is he was trying to suppress my desires. He saw me filming content, not bothering anyone, completely alone. And he wanted to tell me, oh, I couldn't film in there because a group was coming in. And way past the hour mark, the group was nowhere to be found. So this is what I mean when people will try to test your desires. But I'm so grateful in that moment that I said, you know what, let me just stay here and finish up what I was already doing, because my desire was so strong. I was going to get that video out to all of you guys. And I know that on this high performing journey, you're going to deal with all these different things, all these different roadblocks, all these different obstacles. If your desires are strong enough, all these obstacles don't matter. They're just another obstacle that you have to push to the side, that you have to walk over. And this will be the biggest separation between those that did it and those that didn't do it. Like, I don't want you to feel unique, that you're the only one who has these obstacles and the only one that has these challenges. We all have these challenges and obstacles, but it's how you respond to them that will make the difference. And you get this sort of internal confidence when it comes onto these desires, because like I said before, the reason why desire is the only metric that matters is because from having a strong desire, you will develop consistency, you will develop the discipline, you will develop the tenacity, you will develop the persistency to persevere even when things aren't going your way. You will develop the heart to actually want to get better every single day. That's why desire is the core internal thing that without it, all the other things can crumble. And I'm not gonna lie, it is very hard to teach desire. I used to play soccer with this gentleman, and he was a relatively talented soccer player, but I noticed that his dad was so obsessed with him becoming the best soccer player he could. The issue is his son didn't have that desire, the same hunger that his dad did. So his dad would drive him early to practices, travel him to different showcases, send out different videos to top performing coaches, but his son didn't really want it as bad. And as a result, he didn't really go anywhere with the sport. And that's another thing with desire, is it's very hard to teach desire. It's very hard to teach someone how to be very hungry towards their goals and ambitions. So that's why I say, if you have a desire, do not suppress it. Don't think to yourself that you're weird or you need to change. In fact, you need to harness that. That is your superpower as a high performer, and you cannot lose it. And I know the vast majority of high performers that watch my videos are in the process of becoming the best versions of themselves, where they are going after a transformation that probably hasn't happened yet. You're still working on those visions. You're still working on becoming the best version of yourself every single day. I want you to understand that once you win and once your desires reign through, you'll realize how powerful it is to have your desires. You're going to look back at all those people that had those weird little comments, and the people that told you to calm down, or the people that told you that you were too much, and you're just going to smile, because those might be the same exact people that will ask you for advice. Those might be the same exact people that will tell you you're so amazing and you're so talented and I always knew you could do it. And that's why I'm encouraging you, if you take anything away from this video, is that if you have a desire for anything, guard it. Remember that that is your internal superpower, and with it, you can win at the highest level. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys all enjoyed this very impactful one. And if you really resonate with this message, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, as I post more videos like this all the time. And if you guys are interested in working with me to to create systems behind your desires, to really map out a route and to make success inevitable on your journey, hit the first link in my description. And for those of you who are interested in the waitlist for the high performance community, where we can talk about these concepts much more in depth, we'd love to have you. It's also in my description as well. But you know what I always say, make sure to always believe that you will achieve. My name is Miles, aka Mr. High Performance. Let's go.